Day 9, October 2023, Monday at Toast. We will have the summary because the first part had 70 minutes. Because we had to talk about the conjuring as a single person, and I request as applied if is this possible have a conjuring as a single person by the semantic, the semantic in the epistemology of the words conjuring, which implies at least two, something possible. We could observe that the American budget is divided on debt and credit, and this gives me the identity as inside the internal identity at the financial system, considering the microeconomy supply and demand and the macroeconomy investment saving curve and liquidity money curve. I understand that the America has a debt problem, and indeed this comes from the past, at least the 70s. It's the economical model adopted by this country, and in general has no problem when you boost the debt beyond the capacity as coverage, considering all operation and transactions you do not only in USA. But since you did this as the volume higher and all around, probably you will not gonna have the same commitment as accomplishment of obligation as you had in the past inside the United States. And to make things worse, you had the immigrant flow very high in the United States, just like in Europe, facing the same problem and with the electoral interest on it, and in general exploiting the vulnerability that she has the voters and the neoliberal ideas as having a labor, a workforce cheaper. But you must have in mind that the labor force is the unique economic argument that do decisions include be associated as a syndicate to claim social rights and put an extra and big heavy element on your budget, and if you do not satisfy they will have riots and a lot of things until put your system in a mess, just little what Europe was living. The debt is divided on the discretionary debt in USA, the fixed debt in USA. Both are inside the debt. Both are inside the debt, and you must understand if this relation goes like this, having the discretionary debt in blue bigger than the fixed debt, the other is the saving reserve of the United States. If they both, each one of them cross the limits and come to the credit as space, you will burn your saving account as Federal Reserve in USA. The question is quite simple, it's a judicial hearing. Considering that this relation gives me 100%, and if you keep the aggression at the credit that represents the coverage as capacity, assumed and qualified as debt beyond the United States, you need kind of the investment need from outside. Even as the most powerful nation by prodigality, you can be in a terrible condition and misery and very soon below the Africa, for instance. Can you picture this of Brazil? Brazil helping America to survive. Then I talk as Portugal for your glorious time, Europe, your kind of somewhere homeland. Then you check that the judicial here is quite simple. If the discretionary debt is higher than the fixed debt, is it okay, Fed and others, considering the judicial power that has the compensation by good behavior sourced down budget? But the silence about this is not a good behavior. Can we put all judges in the United States listed as an advice to talk about financial mispayment using the budget and the judicial system, including the compensation, the heritages, the cases as divorce, since having any kind of connection inside the budget. Then we will have the second question now to the American society. American society. Since we have the pandemic mobilization of crime in global scale, considering that they act in a standardized way, violating my rights in Brazil, and having the major offender as Brazil, even if I'm not a Brazilian, for instance, a foreigner. They have guarantees and rights fundamental according with the Constitution. If you have the discretionary debts as interest higher than the fixed debts, which is an exclusive expenditure with the American people, like your military defense or your welfare state, do you consider that America has, at least as possible, more interest in things that are not part of the United States, for instance? Which are those things, or which is these things, considering the pandemic mobilization of crime based on corruption of all internal things we have in our areas? The bigger economy of the globe must have the bigger accountability and transparency of the globe by equity or what does we do. We'll finish here because this is an overview. If it's necessary, move forward. I bet that America will make movements. Silence inside, movements outside. I will put the music.